Ellis, and Kevin, and Fam, and Ryoko, and Tintin. Thanks for coming, everybody. How are you, Ellis? Ellis, that's a beautiful background. Hello, Kevin.
Fine, thank
Hello. Hello, Randa. How are you
Pretty
today?
good. I had a fun class in the morning because only two students came, and they
Mm.
talked about crazy stuff. there's a little boy who lives in British Columbia, and he asked the most unusual questions. So the lesson was supposed to be a debate lesson, and we talked about Vietnamese dogs versus Canada's famous Labrador dogs that are used in duck hunting. So this boy became very interested in dogs. So I had to change it to a debate topic like, do you think dogs should work for human beings? Is that a good thing to do? But another student was there. He's a really intelligent student. I think he's here tonight. He's in our class. It's he uses the Vietnamese name Quan, but his English name is Elvin. And I think Elvin may join this class or the next class. And Elvin introduced me to three famous Vietnamese dogs, Kevin, but I forgot their names.
It's very interesting topic.
We're talking about dogs. It was my original debate topic was, should secondary high school students do volunteer work as part of their college entrance process, because schools like Harvard in America and other really high level schools really want to see that excellent students also do volunteer work. And that can be helping people in the hospital or working at an emergency care center for animals who are homeless. So that's why I introduced dogs, but the lesson went completely this way because the cute little kid, Henry, that's his name, Henry. Henry is just very curious about things. So I let his lesson go all the way over here. All right. I'm just looking for, see if Tintin. Yeah, Tintin joined us. Hey, Tintin, are you there?
Yes.
Hey, Tintin, sorry, I didn't know that you use your mother's account. That's why I was confused. Okay.
I was actually done with the homework a very long time ago, but I just forgot to send the document to my parents' phone.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, because usually you sign it Tintin, so I know it's you. Because your mother's name sounds similar to another student, so I was confused. I thought maybe a student made a mistake and put that homework in another place. So thanks, Tintin, for clarifying that. Hey, Tintin, you and Uyen have an interesting thing here. You both used a source that's like, hello, Uyen. Uyen, can you talk tonight or do you have a cold? Let me know. It's okay if you just send messages. So Uyen and Tintin, you both presented me with this small, unique problem. It's nothing serious, so please don't be worried. Tintin was talking about health in general, and Uyen was also. Now, both of you use sources. That was the homework, using a good source. Tintin's was the Mayo Clinic, and Uyen was a French health website. And in both cases, it was just a staff writer. I'll put that in the message, staff writer. So for those magazines, online magazine, staff writer is still pretty good. That's going to be someone has a lot of knowledge in that area. But it was just my only regret. There's a good way. My only regret is that if you could find a doctor's name, it sounds better for a source, right? So let's take a look at those as people are coming in one by one. One or two students couldn't come tonight. So we can just start with Tintin, your checked homework here. And it is Sunday academic writing. Let me make sure I got this right so I don't make a mistake. Let me see. One moment, please. Okay. And okay, yeah, we had writing checked. Well, Tintin, let me see. Yours is under that name. So let me go back to academic writing 3. Okay. And some just came in here. Let's go to this to find Mr. Tintin. Checked. Yeah, this is the Mayo Clinic one, Tintin. Okay, Tintin, I'll put this up on the screen so everyone can see it. Now, of course, you know, Mayo Clinic is one of the most famous hospitals in America. It's in Rochester, Minnesota. So if you mention the Mayo Clinic, you know, that's good, Tintin. You also put a link here. But I couldn't find the doctor's name. I actually went to the link, Tintin. I was hoping to find it. Let's take a look so everyone can see this. Mayo Clinic does really advanced research. It's an interesting clinic. It's really expensive to go there, but you can have a full health examination that lasts for like one whole day or 2 days. People go there and they check everything on your body. It's called like a really comprehensive health check to let you know if you have any serious problems. So Tintin's source was the benefits of regular physical activity. Basically, it's a research study that shows that exercise is important to control weight, to fight diseases such as diabetes, depression, anxiety, all of these it helps here, as you can see. Exercise. So this is one of many research studies. So Tintin, it's a good source, but I'm just wondering who the clinical staff is who wrote this. Let me see, this is highlighted. Oh yeah, you know, this is, Tintin, if you could grab one of these names, right? Chief medical editor on your story, if you put the Sadhya Pruti, it's an Indian name, it's a family physician. If you put one of these names on your source, Tintin, that would be very good, you know. These are all cancer specialists. Mayo Clinic is always checking people for cancer. Mayo Clinic is really expensive as a private hospital, but many rich and famous people go there if they have a problem with cancer. So that's what oncology is, cancer studies. So unfortunately in America, if you're a rich person like Donald Trump, you can go to this clinic and they will fix your body, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. All right. So that's the Mayo Clinic. Tintin, it's a good source. How did you know to use that source?
I just searched the best and reliable sources of like health and other like studies about the body, and I found the Mayo Clinic.
So in American English, we say nice find, like nice find, Tintin. Congratulations. No, it really is. It's excellent work. Now, Uyen, I'm going to go to yours if you're just doing communication today. Uyen, this is also this looks like a really good source from France. Let me see. Here's Uyen's, yeah. And we'll go to this one together. I'll do the share screen. But again, it's a staff writer, so we have to really get a name on that. Who wrote that on the staff writer? Is this it? This is the homework. Let me make sure. Yeah, okay. So we have this link, and the topic here was a healthy lifestyle, also very similar to Tintin. And so I'm going to copy this, and then let me get this ready. I'll do it in Google, and we'll go to this French website here with the link that Uyen gave us. And Uyen, this is kind of fun. Uyen, you get a choice if you want to read this in French or English, right? So I thought that was kind of cool. You know, you could switch to French or English. So it's called Steps to Adopt a Healthier Lifestyle. It has this nice picture of a man and his daughter drinking orange juice or something. So I went through this, but I couldn't find like a specific researcher's name. And so it goes through all the points. These are all excellent points, but I can't actually find the person's name. So I was a little bit concerned about that. It's from the Naturveda Laboratory in France, or Nature's Laboratory. Laboratory Naturveda. Veda is Indian, so Veda is health in India. And I'm going to switch to English. Oh yeah, and the only thing I would say is if you could grab one of these topics that they underline, like balanced diet. If you chose balanced diet and they take you to an article on balanced diet, hopefully in English, yeah, It's May 23rd, but again, who wrote this article is really important. We need a doctor's name on this. So let's see. It's a French website. So did they put the person at the bottom who wrote this? Yeah. So yeah, this is a little bit challenging because we want to get a doctor's name and where they publish from, what hospital, a research study on that. So that would be more homework for you if you want. Okay, trying to get a doctor's name would be a really good homework assignment for you. Okay, let me go back one moment, and I'm going to go to one more of these looking for source exercises. That was Uyen. Oh, Ruyoko, nice work here. So let me go to Ruyoko. Oh, Ruyoko, this is not this. We don't really need corrections on this Ruyoko because it was written really well. So we'll go to Ruyoko here on a Microsoft Word. Ruyoko wrote the thesis statement: social media significantly influences mental health by shaping self-perception, increasing the risk of anxiety and depression, and fostering social connection. Fostering means allowing to grow, highlighting the need for a balanced usage and mental health awareness. This article is by Kinza Yasser on October 2nd, 2024. So very good, Ryoko, you got a very recent date. So that was only 1 month ago. It's really good. 7 effects of social media. Now it's a long address. So I went to this address, and this was pretty good too, because you have the person who wrote it, Ryoko. So that's really good. And then I checked the person's academic credentials, what is the background here? And I was impressed with this too, Ryoko. I keep calling Tintin Ryoko. Ryoko. The person's name is Kinza Yasser. She's a technical writer for this online computer magazine. So I clicked on this, and we find out that she has worked in the field of IT. This is pretty good. She's not an actual psychologist, but she has worked as in technical stuff, writing for a long time. So she does have expert experience as a technical writer. And so she just wanted to explore the psychological parts of social media, negative and positive impacts. So Ryoko, it's a pretty good source. I liked it. Okay, any questions? I just want to do 3 or 4 of those to give you comments on those. Oh, wait, there's a really good one. How could I forget? I want to show you this one because this I would call a really fine example here. And I think it's okay to go this. This is from An, and she did this on Google Documents. And I was really impressed by this. There were no mistakes, so I don't have to show the corrected version. Let me see. An, are you here? Is An here? If An isn't here, I can read this for you. Okay. Oh, I don't see An. She's maybe coming a little late. An focused on tariffs, and this was so interesting for me to see because, Donald Trump was reelected president last week, and he's talking about tariffs and tariffs. So for Lutron and others, you study finance, and Trump is talking 10 or 20% tariffs on anything that comes into America. And of course, this would be a complete disaster, right? I'll write the word here, disaster, because it would just crash the world economy. So everyone is talking about tariffs now. And so I was really surprised that An chose this as her topic. Let me see if An is in the messages though. Let's see. An says, can you hear me? Oh my gosh, my TT has been here since 5:30. Okay. Anfan, keep trying, keep trying. I'm not sure I can hear you, but if you keep sending messages, that's okay. Okay, so here's what she wrote. Tariffs as a tool of international trade policy have significant economic implications, particularly on the global supply chain and domestic industries. When countries impose tariffs on imported goods, they aim to protect local industries from foreign competition, generate government revenue, or retaliate against trading partners. However, tariffs often lead to higher consumer prices and reduced market efficiency. For example, the US-China trade war, which began in 2018, saw both countries imposing tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars worth of goods. This conflict affected various sectors from agriculture to technology, which industries on both sides suffering from increased costs and disrupted supply chains. Research into the long-term effects of these tariffs is ongoing, with studies indicating both positive and negative outcomes depending on the specific economic context. The balance between protectionism and free trade remains a crucial area of study in international economics as policymakers aim to understand how tariffs can be strategically implemented without harming the broader economy. In the future, examining the evolving nature of global trade relationships, particularly in light of technological advancements and shifting geopolitical dynamics, will be crucial to understanding the role of tariffs in modern economies. So as I read On's thing here, I read this part here, the balance between protectionism and free trade. And I thought that was a really interesting comment. Like there is a balance in these things. And so I thought, well, who wrote this? And then I was surprised that On got a quote by Paul Krugman. You know, that's the American who won the Nobel Prize in economics. So if you're here, this is a really good source. This is an excellent source. When you use a Nobel Prize winning economist, then you know it's a good source. So congratulations on that, on a really wonderful topic. Very good. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Great work. Really impressed. Okay. And then I just want to do one more because these are going by so fast that I'd really like to do Ellis's now. Ellis, you did a great job as usual. And so Ellis, can you read yours? Because my voice hurts a little bit because I'm drinking tea, and in Japan, the weather got a little bit cold and rainy. So Ellis, would you like to read what you wrote?
Yes.
Okay.
Thesis statement: as technology becomes more popular in people's daily lives, there are an increasing number of advertisement posts and social media platforms, and this is an uncommon development for a majority of people. Just imagine living without technology at this point in history via the internet or websites. It will be a more different world than we know today.
And then your sources are here. We have Child Mind articles using social media and social media victims. And you have two names too, Ellis. You've got Rachel Emke and Bergman attorney Bergman. So really nice, because Ellis, you actually have names for these sources. So I know this is really good. Congratulations, Ellis. Excellent work. You always do really nice work. Hey, I want to check one more. I got one that came in, and let me see where it is. This one is, network isn't working so well. Okay, that's a message from somebody. Okay, that's all I have for that one. Now, today's main lesson. This gets a little bit complicated. I notice in my classes for younger people in basic writing, the students love to read literature books like Harry Potter and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And there are all these young people's books. And so the students who are the younger students, they know how to write really good book reviews, why they like a book. But on the academic writing level, this can become much more complicated and difficult for people to write an academic review for literature, a literature academic review. So I thought we could do that tonight. Alice, you still have your microphone on. Would you like to read for us a little bit?
An academic literature review.
Yeah.
Is an enjoyable lesson because our younger students love reading Harry Potter books and Diary of a Wimpy Kid. First, let us start with a casual but very well written review of Diary of Wimpy Kid from Amazon.com. A reviewer from England used a most academic style, and he had to say had this to say about the book.
Yeah. So Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Kevin and Lou Tron, do you know this? Do your children have this book, Diary of a Wimpy Kid? They all seem to love this book, all the children that I teach. So let me ask Kevin and Lou Tron that question. Oh, Kevin actually has it. Okay. Kevin, when did you read it? Did you read it recently?
Yeah, absolutely, because when I see my student to read the Diary of the Wiki Kids, I see very interesting the book and show a pilot series of the book for my kids at home. Uh, and I sometimes when I have free time, I have to read. It's so very interesting and very relaxed.
Yeah, I had to read it part by part too because all of the international school kids that I teach had this book. There were a brother and sister from Korea and another boy. You know, they just knew their Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And when they started to read it to me, I was laughing and laughing. I thought it was really funny. Hey, Kevin, can you read this, what I call this almost professional review by someone on Amazon.com from England?
So the Diary of the Wimpy Kids chair book comic collection set has really become a cherished addition to our reading routine, captivating my son's imagination and fostering a love for storytelling. This collection is a testament to enduring appeal of the Jeff Kinney creations, offering an enthralling journey that my son eagerly embarks on every bedtime. From the moment we started reading these books together, I could tell they were designed to engage young minds with humor and relatable experiences. The adventures of the great Halfley and his escapades resonate with my son, making each book an enjoyable and immersive experience. What truly sets the Diary of the Wimpy Kid complete collection apart is its ability to spark curiosity and a passion for reading. The relatable characters and witty narratives keep my son eagerly turning the pages, and the collection's completeness ensures that he has a steady supply of the captivating stories to enjoy.
Yeah, very nice. So if I look at this, I would say this is pretty good for a secondary student in America, grade 1 or grade 2. They could write this for their teacher. And this would be a nice one-page essay to give a report on a book. It would be quite good. What's strong about this is the vocabulary. Escapades means small adventures that Greg and his friends take, small adventures. And resonated with my son is that the little boy resonate is from the word like a bell, like his head is a bell. So it resonates means he can see himself in some of these crazy characters and their experiences. And then here's another big expression, immersive experience. So these are excellent phrases you can use in academic writing. It's just this is only a 3-paragraph Amazon review. And I chose it because it's really well written compared to other Amazon reviews. This is really well done. If Alice or Tintin, you guys had to write a one-page paper of a review of the Wimpy Kid, this would be an excellent one-page academic submission. But when you go to college, then you have to use this longer style, which maybe will take 5 to 10 pages your first or second year of college. If you're a graduate student, this could be up to 15 to 20 pages. And so this is the purpose of a literature review. So I'll tell you what, Lutron, is your microphone working okay?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay, now would you like to read the blue part for us?
Yes. Introduction, purpose of the literature reviews. Clearly, the aim such as providing an overview of existing research on the world, identifying gaps, or situating your research within the context of existing study. This is where you state why your essay or longer research project introduce new ideas into the academic environment. In the way, It's like saying, this is my special contribution. For the literary review of praise, such as this element within the novel is often overlooked, and this inquiry seeks to explore this topic. Scope and focus. Specify the aspect of the work being reviewed, and theme, style, historical context, authorial intent, the writer intent from the word author. Overview of the work, briefly introduce the literary work, such as title, author, publication date, and its significance.
Very good. Nice reading, Lutron. This word is probably most important, so I'm going to put this in bold letters. Kevin, you are doing your PhD now? I'm going to ask Kevin that question.
Yes.
Kevin, you must have heard this word. The gap is where you want to make your research your special contribution. Have you heard that before, the gap?
Yes, absolutely, because it's very important when I make a research. I have to define the research gap for make the research a meaningful for the for my contribution to the industry. Without the gap, the research is nothing.
Okay.
So literature review the section is very important, especially with the higher level like me. I spent a lot of time, approximately over 1 year for the literature review in my research. So this is a very harsh section.
It is very hard.
I think. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. I struggled with this about 3 years ago. Unbelievable, the gap. Finally, I could figure out what my gap was, and I hope I did okay. They passed me. They gave me the master's degree, Kevin, so I guess they liked my gap.
Yeah.
The gap. Okay. By the way, our financial people, Lutron, you are in financial services?
Yes.
Okay, because today is the last day you can register. You could probably still register online. There's going to be a big conference on how to write academic financial papers by professors from Britain in Hanoi City on December 13 and 14 or 14 and 15. And it will show you how to do financial services and planning with professors from Vietnam meeting professors from England. So if you're interested in details, please ask Dr. Duke. She can pass them to you. But Lutron, do you live in Ho Chi Minh City or Hanoi?
I live in Bình Dương and work in Bình Dương province, the near Ho Chi Minh City.
So yeah, if you went to Hanoi, and one of the things they will probably treat is a research gap in finance that you could explore the gap. It's going to be for graduate students of finance in Vietnam, so that might be interesting to you and other students. I have the specific details. I'll give them to you. I'll put them in the thing.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so big words, overview of the book. Now, to tell you the truth, for the younger students, for Alice and Ruyoko, Tintin, Elvin, if you do one page like this quality, Alice, then that should be fine for your secondary school. But if you go into an advanced program, Alice, then you're going to probably be going 3 to 5 pages by the time you're like 13 years old, right? So that's why we have to start using the longer style for a literature critique or review, right? And so you have to do things like dominant themes, the author's background, why did they write this book? Critical interpretations, what do the critics think about this book? You have different approaches. Feminist are women's issues, Marxist analysis, psychoanalytic is psychology. Post-colonial is really interesting maybe for Vietnamese literature because Vietnam was the colony of France. So there's a lot of literature post-colonial. And I'll give you a secret. I chose one of the post-colonial Vietnam. It's not literature, but it's film. It's the best I could find. This is kind of new in the last 30 years, eco-criticism. It criticizes literature from an ecology standpoint. So I read a short story about Africa where some guy goes outside of the airport in Nairobi, Kenya, and he gets garbage to eat. That would be an eco-criticism book. You know, he's recycling the garbage, but he's actually eating it, and it makes him sick because he's so poor. And that was actually a really well-known short story. It really shocked a lot of people. Okay, so here's stylistic. Let me see. Tintin, are you here? See if Tintin is here. Tintin, how's your microphone? Is it okay?
It's a little broken.
Oh, it's not bad. It sounds pretty good. Would you like to read the blue part here? And I have pictures to help you. Okay.
Stylistic and structural analysis.
Hmm.
Language and style. Review scholarly discussions about authors' use of language, tone, imagery, or symbolism. Here's an interesting example. In John Steinbeck's The Grapes of Wrath, the color red is frequently used as a very poor family moves across America to California to find work picking fruit. The color red is used by Steinbeck to symbolize speed or forward movement. The color green is used in The Scent of Green Papaya.
Hmm.
Made in 1993 by Vietnamese director Chan Anh Hung, is used to symbolize a young house servant girl's coming of age or growing up.
Yeah. So in the film Green Papaya, the young girl Mui, she is always cutting papaya for the family. So there's like a connection between her and the green papaya. She's a young woman who's growing up just like the papaya is growing. So that's The Scent of Green Papaya. But that's a movie version. That's the best I could find. Grapes of Wrath is the car here. They have a really old damaged car and they have to put everything on the car, this poor family, and travel about 1,200 miles, about 2,000 kilometers to California. And so when they're on the road with all these other cars, sometimes they see red cars. And so you say, why does the writer John Steinbeck keep using the color red? It's to show forward movement from their simple farm life to go to a whole new place, California, where the treatment of the workers is really bad. John Steinbeck was a socialist in the 1930s and 40s. So it's to show how poor people were treated so badly in America. So in a writing assignment, if you had to do like a 5-page paper for secondary school, Ellis and Tintin, 5 pages, yeah, about 5 pages to tell you the truth. You could choose one color like red, and you could say, why does John Steinbeck use the color red so much? And so what that is it's here it is. Imagery and symbolism. The color red is a symbol for forward movement. In The Scent of Green Papaya, the color green is to show she's a very young girl. Okay. And next. Okay, now this, I want to skip some of these, except this, controversies and debates. Some books are just really controversial. They cause controversy. So you could actually put this into your paper. That could be the entire theme in a book, controversy. Now, some of these themes are like really adult themes. So since we have younger students, I won't discuss them because they're violence or have to do with sex. And so, for example, there's another Nobel Prize winner called Toni Morrison, and she was an African-American writer, and she wrote a book called The Color Blue. I think the color, no, I'm sorry, The Bluest Eye. So Toni Morrison wrote The Bluest Eye. But the themes in it are really violent and horrible. So best not to discuss those, but that book was very controversial when it came out in the 1970s. But she just became so famous because of this book, The Bluest Eye. It's a very sad book, by the way. So I'm going to just jump ahead to some of this because there's a lot here. Here's another African-American author here. Ellis, can you read this here?
Here is an example for a literary review. One contemporary work of fiction had been extensively reviewed using the criteria
Yeah.
outlined above. The Underground Railroad
Hmm.
to that 2016
2016 is good, Alice. Yeah.
Colson Whitehead
Yeah.
Pulitzer Prize-winning novel provides a provides further background for comprehensive literary analysis and have been examined through various lenses of academic and critical circles.
Yeah. Okay, so the title of the book is The Underground Railroad. So before we go any further, I just want to show you that some of you may already know this. So apologies if you say, I already know what that is. Maybe you studied it in history. The Underground Railroad was not an actual train system, it was a series of houses that went from the deep South, Georgia, Alabama, where Black people were slaves. And they would travel at night and they would go to these safe houses all over America. And the goal was to get to the northern blue states where they could have freedom. And many of them went to Canada. And so they would have people help you at night to escape. And it was really dangerous. They would travel in winter like this. And there were people who just wanted to help them escape slavery. So they had to hide all the time. And so here they are. These are professional people trying to find them. And so these white people are helping the Black guy. Usually the whites who were helping them to escape were Christian people from northern churches who thought slavery was wrong. And so there are many maps of how it worked, but you would follow these roads, and they had special signs on the trees to follow and go north. The goal was to get to the north to be free. So that's what this guy wrote about, the Underground Railroad, underground meaning secret. And then it would try to get to Canada or try to get to these northern states here to be free. So that's what that's about. So the 2016 Pulitzer book was the winner. He wrote about a family escaping, this guy Colson Whitehead. So this gives you, from this book, this shows you everything we just talked about. Let's get some new students who would like to try to read this then. We have Min, are you there? Min, who's 17 years old from Da Nang. Are you there, Min?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, Min, do you like to read?
Okay,
Okay.
so
Min, if you can read, it's going to be a little long, but this is quite good. Can you read like the first 2 points?
yeah, so the purpose of reviews is critics often explore the novel's commentary on race, history, and freedom, as well as its reimagining of the historical Underground Railroad as a literal, fantastical railroad. Scoped focus reviews frequently focus on themes of systemic racism, the trauma of slavery, and the blending of realism with speculative elements.
Hmm.
So,
And number
the,
two.
the novel received widespread acclaim for its bold narrative and won multiple awards, including the Pulitzer Prize and the National Book Award. Whitehead's established career as a writer of speculative and realist fiction influences how critics interpret his approach to historical subject matter, and the novel engages deeply with the history of slavery in the United States, reimagining it in a way that resonates with contemporary discussions about racial justice.
Okay, nice. Good reading, by the way. All right, let's try Ruyoko. Are you there?
Yes, teacher.
Hey, Ruyoko, good to hear you. How are you today?
I'm quite good.
Nice work on your homework, by the way.
Thank
Can you read number 3 and 4, Ruyoko?
Okay. Three major themes and interpretations. Dominant themes, freedom and oppression. Korra's journey symbolizes the universal struggle for liberation, the legacy of slavery. The novel examines how the trauma of slavery reverberates through generations. Critical interpretations. Scholars have discussed the novel as a critique of American exceptionalism and a meditation on the enduring impact of racism. Methodolo- methodological approaches.
Mm.
Femi- feminist criticism analysis of Korra's agency and resistance. Uh, Post-colonial theory discussions of a Whitehead's depiction of the black experience within a colonial history. 4. Stylistic and structural analysis. Language and style. Critics praise Whitehead's blending of lyrical prose with harrowing depictions of violence and oppression. Structure and form. The episodic structure, with each chapter representing a different state, serves as a metaphorical and literal journey through different versions of America. Innovations and techniques. The literal Underground Railroad as a speculative element has been a focus of analysis, celebrated for its symbolic richness and narrative innovation.
Nice, Ryoko, really good. This one I wanted to ask Lutron and Kevin and also Tron Nguyen from Hanoi. The post-colonial I thought was really interesting they put here because I often ask the students in Vietnam if they have a great grandfather or great grandmother who maybe can still speak French because of the French colonial period in Vietnam. And I used to ask that question in Taiwan for the teachers I worked with. Some of them said their grandparents still think of them as Japanese because the Japanese controlled Taiwan. So that's that post-colonial theory you could use. So as Kevin, you're an academic researcher. Kevin, do writers in Vietnam, academic writers, still explore like the French colonial times and its influence on modern Vietnam?
So it's not
Especially,
my major research, so
yeah.
I have no idea about
Yeah.
these theories
Okay.
because my industry focus on the marketing and management,
Okay.
not involved in the history, so I have no thing about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because there was a program with a famous chef from America called Tony Bourdain, and he loved Vietnam. He went there like 5 times. He loved the cooking, and he went there with his French friend, a little guy who was also a famous French chef. And they loved the Mekong Delta because there were still French influences on cooking in the Mekong Delta, like eating duck, drinking delicious coffee, eating baguette French bread. He said the people on the Mekong still make really good French food. So it sort of is a post-colonial influence on Vietnam, on the Mekong Delta. The way they prepare the duck, delicious duck and bread and coffee. It sounded really good. And that is your boat is here, and then in the morning another boat comes next to you, and you tell them you want to buy bread, espresso, coffee, and then at lunchtime it stops at a little cafe and they make a delicious duck. So that would be post-colonial influences like that. Okay. By the way, I have to ask Tran Nguyen, are you here in Hanoi?
Yeah, I'm here, teacher.
How are you? It's a little soft.
A little bit not good.
Oh, okay. So is the lesson interesting?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll try to go slowly because there's a lot here. There's so many things. So what I was thinking for your homework, everybody, is if you could just choose some of these. Here, I'm going to show you what I mean by this. I'm going to copy and paste all of this, okay? And this is so huge, all right? So I want to maybe just go this. Copy, 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 copy. And There we go. And then I'm going to put all of this down here again so I don't destroy the original lesson. And all I want are these highlighted bold parts. Now, listen, for your homework, don't answer all of these because it will be really crazy and long, right? So let's start at the beginning up here again one more time. And we'll quickly go through this introduction. Take out this. We won't use this. For your homework, can you do, I like this, this. This is very good. So for your homework, can you give 3 sentences? One sentence, one sentence, one sentence. And then can you do the dominant themes? One sentence, one sentence. So I think if you could do 1 page for homework, that would be good. That would be, I think, stylistic structural analysis. I'm going to take this out. This is too long, too crazy. Comparative studies, no. That's PhD level stuff. Controversies, that's actually really good. And so we're going to keep that there because it's so close to debate. Don't like this one so much. And conclusion. You guys wrote your conclusions already for another class. So we'll bring conclusion up here. Conclusion, just repeat what you have said, your major points. So we have about, let's see, I'm going to renumber these. Okay, so we have point number 1. And then we're going to make this point number 2. And we're going to make this point number 3. And there you go. And then the conclusion is number 4. Okay, so let's start back with Alice. Alice, what book are you interested in reading recently?
I'm kind of interested in Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Oh, so you do like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, okay. Diary of a Wimpy Kid. So we're going to choose Ellis's. Reception, Diary of a Wimpy Kid. And we can say about this, unbelievably popular all around the world. That's good enough, you know, it's reception. Next is the author's background. Ha, ha, ha. So Alice, for this one, if you could just take a quick peek, do you know his author, the author's background? Like what did he study at school or something? This would just be maybe 1 sentence, Alice. Let's go to Wikipedia and find out about this author, okay? So we'll go to Wikipedia and let me put this on the share screen. And so we would go to Wikipedia to find out about this author. And so we write, it's such a famous book, we just have to write Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Not the film, not the album. We want the book. Yeah, and so his name is Jeff Kinney. So we go here. And the guy's name is Jeff Kinney. So, of course, he's such a famous writer because of this book. There he is. Looks like a nice guy. Oh, my gosh, he looks like the Diary of the Wimpy Kid. All right. He's an American author, cartoonist, best known for Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Born in Maryland. Oh, I thought he was British. Interesting. Went to the University of Maryland. First wrote it in 1998. Okay, so all we really have to know is that he, you know, the background is he went to the University of Maryland and he wrote the book in 1998. That's probably enough. He's a writer, but also, Ellis, he's an illustrator, which means he illustrates the books. He's a cartoon guy also. So that's why his books are so unique, right? And so we stop that here and we go back to the original thing for today, the literary review. And Diary of a Wimpy Kid, his name is Kinney. So we take out Whitehead here, Ellis, because that's the other book. And we put Jeff Kinney. And he went to University of Maryland. Maryland. Published the book in 1998. And he is also, I'm going to paste this in here, he's an illustrator, writer and illustrator. And I'll make that a little bit smaller. At about 11. Yeah, he's a writer and illustrator. Okay. Cultural and historical influences. Well, Ellis, this is a little bit more challenging again. Let's see, when was he born? So he was born in 1971, right? So his influences, you could answer that question by yourself with no problem, Ellis. You could say his cultural influences are growing up in America in the 1970s, right? Because it could be that children are different right now, you know. So I'm going to take this out because that's from the other book. Sorry, this is taking so long, but I have to paste the other thing in. Okay, so cultural and historical influences, Ellis. We could do this. Born. Okay, so he grew up in the 1970s and 1980s. So Ellis, that's going to have an influence. Um, So Ellis, you could ask that question, you know, what the character Greg, he's doesn't have a lot of confidence, and that's what wimpy means. Wimpy means weak. It means weak kid. And he's kind of a confused kid and he makes foolish mistakes, right, Ellis? So if you look at this cultural historical influences, you could say, is this Jeffrey Patrick Kinney, was it his own experience that he didn't have much confidence growing up, right? So to answer that question, you could quickly find an interview on the internet with Jeff Kinney and see if the character Greg is like him growing up. And then that would really help you in any kind of research you have, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Alice, can you answer this question just from your memory? We'll take away freedom and oppression. All of this we won't use because that's from the book about slavery in America. What is the theme of Diary of a Wimpy Kid? What would you say, Alice?
I would say that surrounds a normal teenager life.
Hmm.
Which made up some stupid ideas.
Which could mean a lot of teenage. Alice, I'm laughing because my teenage friends and I used to have some really foolish ideas. Okay. Ellis, does Greg have the mistake that he listens to other people's ideas and makes terrible mistakes after people give him bad information?
No, he just made it up and thought it was a good idea.
Okay. Does that sound right, Ellis, what I just wrote?
Yeah.
Okay, so Ellis, does anyone try to help Greg in all the books? There are like 12 books. Does anyone try to help him from being so foolish?
He actually do it with his best friend and they got so foolish they made some big mistakes and got yeah kind of
All right.
punishments. They got many punishments.
Uh, Hey, Alice, this is interesting because in debate class, we talked about punishment from outside as a way to correct bad behavior versus inside knowledge where you know not to do the bad things, Alice. Do you know different students, Alice, like your friends who inside they know what's right or wrong to do versus kids who have behavior problems? At school, mostly. It's a big question.
It's kind of many kids at school got the same problem as him.
Oh, okay, so there are students, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that's accurate, Ellis?
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. All right, so I'll help you a little bit. There, you covered points 1 and 2, so that's really good. Okay, let's see. We got to get some more people here so any others can enjoy. Let me see. Let me ask Lutron. Lutron, do you have time to read fiction books?
Hello.
Hello, Lutron. Do you enjoy reading?
I'm not rich yet. This book, I I think that I will buy it for my son.
Oh, okay, yeah, you can read
Yeah.
it together.
Yes.
So for this dominant theme, you know, as you read this book, you could ask, are these stories real? So, you know, I would be asking my son, do you have any friends who act like this? Because some of the situations that Greg, the character, finds himself in are so crazy, right? Ellis, give us a situation Greg did that you think is just unbelievably weird or strange or true.
He thought that during a time capsule and then they around he thinks that in the future we'll have a time machine, and so
Yeah.
he made a time capsule inside his friend's yard. But instead, when it is midnight, he dig it up and got all the money and go buy those cola and snacks. He used his best friend money to buy himself.
To go time traveling with?
He fooled his friend that people in the future can time travel back. So yeah.
All right. So, Ellis, would you say Greg believes his imagination too much?
Yeah.
All right, not bad, Ellis. That would be also a theme. Don't believe in your imagination too much because some kids go crazy with the imagination, right? Like Ellis, my brother's son Nolan used to pretend he was fighting a fire in his bedroom, and he was a fireman, and he had a fire helmet, and he used to throw the pillows and be really hyper. And my other sister said, I think that boy's kind of crazy. Um, but when he grew up, he became a very powerful lawyer. He just got married. So he's actually a powerful lawyer west of Chicago, my hometown. So I don't know, maybe imagination's a good thing, right? Okay. Let's see. Let's ask Ruyoko. Ruyoko, what are you reading recently that's literature? Do you have any suggestions?
Um, I'm speaking mainly some Vietnamese. But I
Oh,
don't know. Wait, sorry. Yeah, give me a second. I don't know that word in Vietnamese.
okay. Let's see. Fun fact, my parents were also born in Ellis. What was that? In the 1970s, yeah. So they're the same age as that writer, Kinney. So you can see.
slightly smaller.
Yeah. Very interesting. Ryoko, can you put it in chat if it's in Vietnamese?
Okay, okay.
Okay. Then I'll try to paste and copy it from chat. Su T. Is that the writer's name? Or the book's name?
No, it's a type of literature. It's a type of it's a type of thing.
Character or literature?
A type of literature.
Oh, nice. All right. Now I'm curious. You got me thinking about this. So I'm going to stop the share and put Suti. And we're going to go to my favorite source, you guys. And we're going to see, we can ask the question, how good is Chat GPT to help you with a literary review? Like I got the scent of green papaya, okay, so here I'll show you the question to ask for Chat GPT. You have to phrase your questions just right, everybody. Can you provide information on the Vietnamese literature, literary genre is the French word, Suti. And let's see what ChatGPT says, Ryoko. Oh, nice, 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 Ryoko. All right, Ryoko, you gave it to me, so can you read it?
Oh, all right.
Okay, let me see if it stops because it keeps giving me a lot of information. Oh, this is really cool. I'll tell you what, if you can just read, because it's so long, can you read like just that?
Okay. Su Thi, Vietnamese epic poetry. Su Thi or Vietnamese epic poetry is a traditional literary
Yeah.
genre that holds significant cultural and historical importance, particularly among Vietnam's ethnic minority groups.
Mm,
The genre captures tales of heroism,
mm.
communal values, and the cosmological and spiritual beliefs of the people who composes and pass down these works orally.
Nice. So do you see that's an excellent description? Ryoko, you could quickly put that into a literary review. It's so perfect for what we're doing, right? So, if we went back and they said, what is the historical context? And you were talking about Suti, that ChatGTP just gave you an excellent review of it. I'm going to paste it right in there. And traditional literary genre, significant cultural and historical importance, particularly amongst, I'm going to highlight this because it's so important, amongst the ethnic minority groups. Ethnic minority groups then goes all the way back here to
Dạ con biết Sushi cho mình đi.
there it is. Ryoko, do you see it? And let me go back more here. Yeah. Do you know what I almost want to put here? So Ryoko, I spelled indigenous wrong. Indigenous, original cultures. Indigenous culture critique would be right here. So we paste that. So that would be a really good critique for indigenous cultures. So you guys, the main point of tonight's lesson is this is very flexible. And you don't have to do all of this because it's just so huge, you guys. I wouldn't suggest doing that. But the most important thing are these points that I did with Ellis tonight, starting here, and also Ryoko for Suti and for Patrick Kinney. This is kind of mixed together. Sorry about that. I'm going to take this out though, because it's kind of confusing. Let's take out Suti here. And I'll put it down here for you, Ryoko. So if you need this for your homework, you can do another, let's call it Ryoko's example. All right, and we're going to put the Suti there. Okay. And then if you need to go to ChatGPT, you can see it there. All right, so does everyone understand? Can you just pick your favorite book, what you like reading? For Ellis, it is The Wimpy Kid. And then try to do number 1, number 2, and number 3, and number 4, right? And probably the most difficult are controversies or debates. Is there anything in this book that mothers and fathers don't like their kids to read about, right? Let me quickly show you an example of that before we finish for tonight. This book was made in 1945. I was surprised by the famous writer J.D. Salinger. And I showed this to my class, my last writing class. Some of you might remember it. Catcher in Their Eye is so famous. So let me share the screen. This book was very controversial when it came out in 1945. The writer is J.D. Salinger, and this guy went through World War II in the German Battle of the Herzegovina Forest, and it's a battle where thousands of Americans died. So he was really upset by all the violence, and he went back to America, and America had changed. So in 1945, he wrote this book about a teenager named Holden Caulfield. And the controversy is that this kid in the book with the red cap, he leaves his private school that's very expensive, and he's been thrown out of 3 different private schools, and he smokes. And the mothers and fathers said, we don't want our high school kids to read this book because he uses bad language in the book. So about 75 years ago, this was unbelievably controversial. And they still read it in America. It's not as controversial, but 75 years ago, it was considered really shocking. So if you had to do a critical critique about that, that would be an excellent one. But by all means, do the Diary of the Wimpy Kid. And Ryoko, if you could tell us more about Suti. And then Kevin, if you want to do Diary of a Wimpy Kid too, you could, if you want. You know, it's a fun book. And if you read it to your children, your son, we could also do that, you know, if your children like it, Lutron. All right, let's finish for today. I hope you were interested in that literary critique. I showed you the simple version and the much more difficult version. It's not an easy one to do, literary critique. I must say, it was something I always found very challenging in high school and college. I enjoyed it, but it can be very frustrating. Okay, so Ellis, thank you so much for your help. I'm really happy you're taking the course because you're going to be an amazing secondary school writer with all the things you're learning. And Kevin, thank you so much. I hope to hear from, there's your boy who loves his Diary of a Wimpy Kid. All right. Very nice. And nice to see you. Nice to meet you. It's your daughter actually there. She's in pink. And Lutron, thank you so much. Always a pleasure. Min, thank you for joining us from Da Nang. And Anfam, thank you. Ryoko, Tintin, Tra Nguyen, Uyen, thank you for coming, everybody.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much. We'll see you next week. I hope we can do more discussion because that literary criticism is just me talking, and I want you to enjoy more discussion, okay? All right. We'll see you, everybody. Bye-bye.